Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ND Ice. I'm your host, David Trinko, alongside Ian Iverson and Lincoln Retzloff, as always. And we're UND. If you are, let me just start by saying this. If you're a UND fan who went into this weekend thinking we were going to lose to Merrimack or we were going to lose to Quinnipiac, then you would have been thinking the same thoughts as our buddy Lincoln over here. Lincoln thought that we were going to lose both games and now thinks we are going to lose to the University of Wisconsin. Lincoln, do you have any words to say to that in response?
I have no words.
I don't
That's
mind the
it.
plan. Keep thinking we're gonna lose and
I do think we're going to keep
working.
losing.
Now, do you say that because it's your honest thoughts, or are you just doing that to protect your inner self from when we would always lose as children?
I do honestly think we're going to lose.
Wow. I Wisconsin? Okay. Uh, I would have thought maybe, hey, we grew up losing a lot and you just want to protect you say your low expectations. You can't really get hurt if you think we're going to lose because it's what you expected to happen. So I get it a little bit, but I wish you'd have a little bit more hope in your team, man. I think they've proven you wrong quite a bit this year.
Oh, I hope they keep proving me wrong,
Okay, sweet.
but they're going to lose.
Uh, okay. Well, uh, we're gonna go into some weekend recaps. I'm gonna start. So the fellas rode down to Sioux Falls on Thursday morning for the Thursday game. I rode down with Lincoln and his father and our other buddy, and got into town. Just kind of dicked around until we headed to the den before the game. That was where the pregame party was for the UND fans. That was pretty busy. It was a cool atmosphere, and then went to the game. The game was honestly. A little disappointing in the atmosphere on Thursday. I thought it would have been a little bit more packed than it was. But it was still cool. Obviously, UND took the Vic Roy, and we were in to the quarterfinals. We went back to the hotel, dicked around and swam in the pool or whatever, and then moved to the new hotel the next day. Watched the games, went and did dude shit, and then went to the game on Saturday. And the fellas are double F bound. So then we drove back on Sunday morning and just got my stuff done as fast as I could so I could just relax the rest of the night. And now we're here. So what about who wants to go next? Who wants to share next?
I'll share. I did the exact same thing as Dave. We'll just leave it at that.
That's a good point. Yeah,
There
save
was
some time
nothing
there.
different about what I did.
Yeah. All right, Ian.
Yeah, I didn't get to go, sadly. I was thinking about going down Saturday, but tickets were kind of jumping up in price, at least when I looked at them. Apparently, I was misinformed, but I
Kind of.
didn't go. I wanted to manifest the trip to Vegas, so I stayed away and
Yeah, you
just
need to not go to Vegas, bro. Get away, bro. Sell your tickets.
not this year, baby. Yeah, I don't know. I probably lost about 6 months off my life in the Merrimack game. Just out of,
Why?
dude, I mean, it was a stressful one. We'll get into it in a little bit, but
Maybe I
yeah,
was just too drunk to
mainly,
care. I don't know.
mainly just watched everybody play to get a feel for all the teams, and I was right for the most part about almost everybody. I think Michigan, I got that wrong, but yeah, that's about
Yep.
it.
You and Wisconsin going to the Frozen Four?
After the first game of Michigan State, I did not have Michigan State be winning that next game. No,
So you didn't have
Michigan
Wisconsin
State
going to the Frozen
like
Four prior to the tournament starting. That does not
yes.
count.
And then I saw how Michigan State played absolutely garbage against UConn. I'm like, there's no way this team's making it to the Frozen Four.
That was, dude, I don't, we'll get into that in a minute, I guess. But, oh, we forgot to share because we have a fan that might be listening right now who wanted us to share this story. I forgot, uh, to say it right away because I don't have the notes open. So Lincoln's father has a college friend. I'm gonna keep his name anonymous. If you're listening to this, you know who you are. Uh, he lives in Sioux Falls, so he had a truck there. We had a cooler in the back of the pickup truck, and he had driven it to the den. Look at Lincoln, he already knows what's happening. Uh, he drove it to the den. He had old beers in a cooler that from his fridge he just wanted to get rid of, so he's just like, I'll hand them out to the fellas, whoever wants to drink them can drink them. And then so he had a cooler, a big long cooler in the back of the truck, and apparently it was like 20 years of service, like it was a old cooler, like he's had it for a long time. And um we were pre-gaming the game, after the den we went over there, had maybe one more, two more, and then walked into the game on this is before the Merrimack game. And the way this he shares the story, we weren't there for this part, but him and Lincoln's father were walking back to the truck after the game, and it was a little chilly, so they wanted to pre-start the truck or the car as you would. And there's like on a key fob, there's a button for auto start, there's a button for the alarm, unlock, lock, and then there's a button for the tailgate or to open the trunk. He unknowingly clicked the tailgate button at some point, and we all got in the truck. We followed them shortly after they had already gotten to the truck, and we didn't see the tailgate was down either. But right after we left the parking lot, he kind of gunned it to the nearest stop sign, just to, as you people do, sometimes just to show off the power or whatever. I don't know. And then we get uh, we get back. They drop us off, and then they go back, I think, to their place, uh, which was Lincoln's dad's buddy's house. And they get out of the car, and Lincoln's dad's like, "Well, the cooler's gone," or whatever. He comes out of the truck. He's like, "I don't know where the cooler is, but it's gone." And they didn't know if it was stolen. And then it took the guy, I think, a little bit. He realized it that night, but he said that he the cardboard was moved from the back to the front of the bed to the back. So he imagined that the cooler just fell out in the middle of the road when he gunned it. So, and all the beer in there was bottles. So you already know that was an absolute mess or an absolute treasure chest for some homeless guy who needed a pick me up. So, yeah, Sioux Falls needed a street sweeper on the spot, but when they went back the next morning to look, there was just nothing there, no cooler, no bottles, no remnants at all. So, whatever. Yeah, that was the story, I guess. Hopefully a couple of you guys had a good chuckle. And if you're listening to this, we love you. That was a good story. So let's move into the recap of the NCAA tournament. Unless any of you guys have anything to add real quick. The Sens are getting belt to ass right now by Florida. That's not a good look. All right, let me pull this bracky up real fast. Okay, here we go. We've got I can't remember who our picks were for the Frozen Four, but it doesn't really matter right now. We'll go into day one. So the first game of the regionals was Michigan State and UConn. Michigan State got a not very commanding 2-1 win. They hardly held on there at the end. I was very surprised to see Michigan State have the game be that close. Uh,
Not to mention they got outshot almost double, I think.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. And then we'll go through each regional, and then you guys can share your thoughts of the regional the games. Um, Wisconsin beat Dartmouth 5-1. Dartmouth was the 2 seed. Wisconsin was like the 3 seed. They were one of the last seeds, one of the last at larges to get in. Uh, and then Michigan State was up 3-1 on Wisconsin. Wisconsin scored 2 goals. I don't know. It was at least under 10 minutes left in the third. It
Hmm.
might have been even closer to like 6 minutes, under 6 minutes, and then they scored 20 seconds into overtime off a weird deflection goal. So the team I honestly thought was not going to make it out of the first round is in the Frozen Four, and it's the team with the fourth most national championships, which is Wisconsin. Their first Frozen Four since 2010 when they lost in Detroit to Boston College. They got absolutely clobbered in that championship game. I thought I was surprised by how poorly the East teams played this year. I pretty much all of them except for Quinnipiac were done day one. So that really messed with my brackets. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you have UConn losing first game, Dartmouth losing first game, Providence losing first game, Merrimack losing first game, Cornell losing first game, Bentley losing first game. Quinnipiac was the only East
Penn State
team to
lost
make
too.
it. If you want to call them East, yes. I don't personally call them East, but they are, I guess, close enough. Penn State also, yes. And then Quinnipiac was the only team to make it through from the East because they were already playing an East team. So one of them had to make it past the first round. Any thoughts on that Worcester regional where Wisconsin made it out, fellas? Ian,
I
want to
thought they
share your
would
takes?
Dartmouth. I'm not an East
What?
Coast believer. I said I
You
thought
say,
they'd beat Dartmouth.
okay,
Not an East Coast believer at all,
sure.
really. And so I kind of expected that to happen to some degree. Dartmouth, I mean, obviously they started off the year really hot, but you know, they started to definitely fizzle out. Straffroff was
Hmm.
for them, but they just to me they weren't a tournament team. There's other teams in the ECAC that are much more built for the playoffs, like Quinnipiac. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I did not expect Michigan State to look like mediocre. Um, I mean, they got vastly outshot by UConn, kind of outplayed to some extent.
Hmm.
And then obviously, Augustine being Augustine just completely blows it in playoff time. I mean, it's a team that's been in the top five, I think, for 3 years straight, pretty much. And they did not make a Frozen Four at all. So,
Right.
just Big Ten being
Tough
to
look for
Big
them.
Ten. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, Wisconsin, if I had to pick any Big Ten team to make the Frozen Four, it would be Wisconsin. So, good for them.
Why? That's confusing to me because I thought it's not necessarily, I didn't pick Dartmouth to beat Wisconsin because I thought Dartmouth was good. I picked Wisconsin to lose because I just thought Wisconsin was the coldest team coming in the tournament. They had not played in some weeks and weeks and weeks, and that usually doesn't fare well for teams like that. And they hadn't been playing well up to that point anyway either. So I kind of thought that Wisconsin really didn't have it in them, but they proved me wrong. So I'm a little surprised that you thought, why would you think that they'd be the team to make it out? They
Oh, I
haven't
mean
had
that as
any
a
playoff
moral. I
success.
mean that as a moral standpoint of if I had to root for any of the Big Ten teams to make it far,
Um,
Wisconsin.
okay. I would have picked Michigan State to make it out or
I did
Michigan,
too
but
until the first round game, and I'm like, there's no way. They look terrible.
can you get thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, the whole Michigan State thing is just getting annoying at this point because every year it's the Herald's picking them as number one or everyone else in the country is, and it's like they lose in the regional final every
Mm-hmm.
freaking year or before. It's like
Oh,
getting to the point where
yeah.
it's like, and they're so
Us.
loaded too, but I don't know. I think a lot of the times my theory is with some of these Big Ten, and you're even seeing this on the East Coast teams, is that I feel like, and this is part of the reason why I think Jax's team is so good. And you can maybe even make this um, discussion about Wisconsin because they got Hastings as the coach there, and he coaches, a little bit different style. But like Jax has guys who are bought into the program. David Carl has guys that are bought into their program.
Mm-hmm.
You almost wonder with teams like Michigan State, do all these guys got their foot out the door? Like we saw that with some UND teams in the past year, guys leaving early. I mean, I know Porter Martone was going to sign, but and obviously
Oh,
they
he
lost.
signed
But
the
like
next morning.
he signs literally not even 12 hours after they lose, and it's like, and I get it, like whatever. Like obviously he was going to sign no matter what, but it's like you just wonder how much are these guys really focusing on winning national championships, and then on the East Coast thing, seeing all the East Coast teams eliminated right away. I I really don't think it's that surprising when you consider how just weak most of those teams were this year. I mean, Hockey East is not that good just in general. And the ECAC, I mean, they're don't get me wrong, Cornell, Quinnipiac are good teams, but their strength of schedules really weren't that tough.
Yeah.
And NCHC teams are built for the postseason. And I just think, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there was any major surprises. You could say, yeah, Wisconsin is definitely a surprise. But is it shocking that they beat Michigan State? I wouldn't say it's shocking, that as shocking as it could be. They're still a good team and they're really well coached. So, but I
Right.
think at the end of the day, I mean, Michigan steam kind of not steamrolling, but going through Bentley like that. I thought Bentley was going to put up a little bit more of a fight, but then after that game, I was like, okay, Michigan, they're legit. And then I don't know what Duluth was doing in that first period,
Yeah, they just
gave up
dicked
a power play
around.
goal, a shorthanded goal. and just like another regular goal. And I didn't even the rest of the game, Duluth actually did play a lot better. But when
I
you go
know.
down 3-0 to any team in college hockey, you're not going to win the game. So, yeah,
Kind of hopping around here. We didn't get to that far yet, but that's okay, Lincoln. We'll meander back there, and then you can finish that. You were on a good roll there. I don't blame you. Uh, the other regional on the first day was North Dakota Merrimack. North Dakota won 3-0. Merrimack had North Dakota on their heels, or not on their heels. I'd say just on their toes, like just weary until the third when North Dakota scored another goal, their second, and then the empty netter to seal it. That was a nail biter at times. Max Lundgren definitely kept Merrimack in that game for sure, and North Dakota just did a good job defending. Providence, Quinnipiac. I expected Providence to win this game. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Quinnipiac going into that game, like you said, Lincoln. I thought that they had a really weak schedule this year. They played well. Uh, I thought they had a weak schedule though. I didn't, and I thought, they had just gotten swept by Clarkson. I was not very impressed by that at all. I just kind of was kind of low on them. But I guess when you do one of those head to heads, you just take the better coach, and the better coach. Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough one. Rand Pecknold's a good coach, but you can make the argument that what's his name?
Lehman, Nate.
Yeah, Matt Lehman is, or
Is it Nate
what's
Lehman?
it?
I think it is.
Nate Lehman, yeah. Nate Lehman is a great coach. He was the Rand Pecknold before Rand Pecknold, I feel like. He was he was great. So that's a tough coaching matchup right there, especially with Providence being the two seed. I just kind of thought Quinnipiac was going to lose. And then obviously Quinnipiac lost to North Dakota 5-0. So now we can go into that regional real quick. What are you guys' thoughts on the regional? UND, Jan Spunar gives up 0 goals. UND goes 8 for 0 in goals against. What did you guys see? What did you guys think?
I'll go first on this one. I know I have my prediction that we're going to lose, obviously, but honestly, though, when you really just look at the way the games play out, like it didn't surprise me at all. Like you knew Merrimack was hot
We were
coming
not
in.
nervous. That was
You
one thing me and
knew
Lincoln would say is that we were not. It was like the Quinnipiac game. We were not nervous at all for during the game.
No, I would argue I was more nervous for the Merrimack game just because you had to get
Hmm.
over the hump. And they played kind of exactly how we thought they would. They'd make a push at the end. Their goaltender played pretty good.
Yeah,
And UND just played, they won because they're the better team. And that's at the end of the day, that's what you want and expect to happen. And then onto the Quinnipiac game. I just felt like that Merrimack game just there was such swagger going in. And
yeah,
I think just UND's style of play just I don't know if Quinnipiac had ran into many teams that played like UND all year, just structurally good. Wittenbach was pretty invisible.
yeah.
Um,
He had a
I
good
just
chance in the first, but
he
was
did,
absolutely stopped by
but they just when they were in
Jan.
the O zone, there's maybe one or two times where I'm like, oh, they'll bury one here. But when UND went up 3-0, I was like, all right, I was like, it's not over yet, guys. I remember kept saying that, but I'm like, in your head, you're like, you're breathing well. So I don't know.
Yeah,
A lot of people on the internet are saying, oh, UND has the easiest route to the Frozen Four, and it's like,
you say that because they
I
made
get
it
where that
look
comes
easy,
from, but
but
it's like UND also just played the best out of arguably anyone in the tournament this weekend. Like it was just
hmm
never really no team was ever in really striking distance to win their game. So I mean, yeah, that was just my kind of take on the weekend. I think it was,
I
and
agree.
I know I mentioned this last week on the pod. I was like, I really want to see UND explode for a bunch of goals, and
Hmm
they did that
They
Saturday,
did
which was just
explode.
so satisfying
Exactly.
to see.
They absolutely exploded. Um, Jack Hernan, phenomenal in the Quinnipiac game. Two just disgusting goals. He did exactly what he needed, what UND needed him to do, which was fill in for Ole, which is going to be a tough thing for North Dakota because he's looking like he's coming back for the Frozen Four, and they're gonna have to figure out who they want to move out. I don't know if you move out David Klee and put Kernan on the fourth line. I don't know what you do because I think Klee's been playing well as well, but we can always talk about that next week when we know for sure. But it looks like he's going to be playing. The rumor was like the initial assessment was maybe he had a tear of a ligament or something like that, but maybe the assessments now are that the closer, more in-depth assessments look like he might be, there was no tear. So he looks like he might be back in the lineup or probably will be for the Frozen Four, which is great for UND, obviously. And yeah, what do you do there? Sorry, Ian, you can go ahead and say your thoughts on the regional quick. I just wanted to share that bit.
Oh, I mean, to the point of people saying we had the weakest region, I just don't think really. I mean, Michigan State was kind of built like us, but I don't think there's really a team, especially not anymore, besides
That is
maybe
deep.
there is no team that's built like us. I mean, the thing that's beautiful about Jax is that the team knows how to be a disruptor. I mean, they win all the battles in the corners. They're just ferocious in the neutral zone, and that's something that a lot of these up and down teams just don't. They're not used to. And to credit to Merrimack, I mean, they came out and skated very, very hard. They actually played pretty gritty in the corners and had a lot of really good chances. I credit Spoonar with the victory on that. But like we said, once they got that win, they got some swagger. There was no way we were losing to Quinnipiac.
Hmm.
I didn't expect Quinnipiac to come out just so slow and like shocked. Like the first 10 minutes, I mean, it was just like it's like we were playing Omaha or like we were playing, some bottom tier conference team.
It was like some throwaway game in Rochester.
Yeah, I like we annihilated them and it had everything to do with just Quinnipiac did not know how to win battles in the corners. They didn't know how to play against our system. They just got completely thrown off guard.
UND played phenomenally, dude. I think that's a big test of that. They just
Yeah.
won puck battles, made amazing plays. They won like all the puck battles on the boards. They just battled for pucks, forced turnovers, that led to Kernan's third goal. We talked about another reason why I thought Quinnipiac was going to lose is Jack Parsons for Providence was the better goalie in that matchup. Uh, Heading into it anyway, he had the better year, better stats, and Dylan Silverstein, uh, he gave up 3 goals in the first period against UND and was pulled for their backup, who played better than Silverstein. Uh, Anything else to add on that regional before we move on?
Yeah,
Jan Spoonar was phenomenal.
yeah, no
It was
doubt.
disgusting. Yep.
I actually
His
thought
comments were great too.
Quinnipiac was the easiest upset of the tournament for me. At least for two teams out of the Hockey East or ECAC. I mean, when both teams are built to be run and gun, the smaller, faster team tends to win in that environment. And so I
Hmm.
saw that coming all day long. It was just like Penn State and Maine last year.
It's it's funny, I think personally. People say UND had the easiest regional, but yet everyone was picking UND to lose in it. So I don't know,
Yeah.
like pick a side. Like what do you want? Like they proved so many people wrong. They thought we were going to lose to Merrimack. They thought Merrimack was going to come in and beat them because Merrimack was hot, and they were. They played a good game against UND. UND is a better team and won. A lot of people thought Quinnipiac was going to win that game, and they didn't. So
And even the
you
crew
tell
acted
me,
like that on ESPN. That's
and
a
then
whole.
everyone said, "Oh, now they're all saying that since we dusted everybody." That oh we just had the easiest regional, so that's why you made it through. Well, you're just a UND hater clearly, so why don't you develop some unbiasedness and give the team some respect? Anyway, anything else to add before we move to
Yeah,
the
just we'll get into this a little bit later too, but the ESPN crews were about as awful as you could be. I mean, it was
thought
pretty
so?
obvious
I
that
didn't see it. Obviously, me and Lincoln were there, so we didn't
oh,
hear
David,
anything.
they
What
were
they say?
horrible. I mean,
Like how?
you could tell that the script they got handed, these guys know nothing about college hockey, and they just got handed talk about Porter Martone, talk about Michigan, and talk about Gavin McKenna, and that was it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about our regional specifically. I thought our announcers were pretty good
Our
from what I
announcers were
saw.
okay, but I mean, it was just after every intermission, especially the Merrimack game. I mean, the crew
Merrimack. Stop calling it
was
Merrimack. It's Merrimack.
whatever, dude. The crew was basically acting like it was Merrimack's game to lose. I mean, I don't think they said a peep about us the entire day on Thursday. And it was just like you could tell that there was a certain bias there for sure. And even in the Quinnipiac game, I mean, they didn't say anything about us. They were just like, "Oh, Quinnipiac's got a lot of high-flying offense, guys. It's going to be a tough one." So yeah, again, it's the NCAA's hating North Dakota like every other year, hating the NCHC like every other year, and every year we prove them wrong.
One more
Right.
thing I will add to that, not to that necessarily, but a plus on the weekend because we never talked about it once. I thought the refing, and I'm pretty sure we have Big Ten crews, was actually phenomenal.
I
I
think the Big Ten refs, I think they're the best. Yeah.
I was very
Agree with
now that
that.
like there was never once this weekend where I was like, oh, that's a questionable call, blah blah blah. Like it was they did a really good job, and I hope. Oh man, they can't do the throw. I don't know if they can do the. They were
They
just so
can't.
good.
They can't
That
because
was
there's two
that was
Big Ten teams in
phenomenal
it.
refing, and I yeah. I hope I maybe CCHA ref. So I hope we get them because I don't East Coast refs calls just
I think it'll be Hockey East because they're East and that would be unbiased.
yeah. I don't I think Hockey East refs just call stuff so much differently, and
They do.
it's gonna favors teams a lot. Yeah, like it's a problem when teams come to UND. It's a problem when we go out there. I think this was a topic during the Clarkson game. Guys were getting like penalties on stuff they normally wouldn't thought they didn't think they would, and it's like I don't want to have to deal with that against Wisconsin. I just want the boys to be able to just go out there and play a hockey game. So
Right. I
I'm
think that's right.
praying the NCAA doesn't screw this up and send good refs, but they just call a terrible game.
I agree. I think I agree with you completely on the reffing this weekend. It was great. Like you said, no bad calls. I think that's what Big Ten refs personally do. That's why I've thought that they've had the best refs since for a while now. They just call a very fair game and they just let the boys play a lot of the time, and that's what you need to do in college hockey some of the time is just let the boys play. You don't need to you don't need to give out power plays every here and there every couple minutes. Um, that's what I really appreciate about the Big Ten refs. They just let the fellas play at the end of the day. Um, we'll move into the next regional, which is the first game of the Friday games was Western Michigan and Minnesota State. A rematch of the first round last year in Fargo, where Western Michigan took that one in overtime. They took this one again with the 3-1 Vic Roy over the Mavericks. I thought that game would have been maybe a little bit closer. I didn't think Minnesota State was going to win that game, but obviously, you don't want to play Alex Tracy this time of the year. A phenomenal goaltender. Michigan State or Western Michigan moved on to the regional final in Loveland, Colorado. Denver, the host team of Loveland, faced number three Cornell. That's a rematch of a couple of years ago in the first round when Cornell was able to beat Denver. This is one of the first times that they've lost in the first round, and it wasn't really close. Denver won 5-0. Uh, John Hicks with the shutout, the only other goaltender to have a shutout in the first round, or it looks like in the entire tournament, besides Jan Spunar. I thought Cornell was going to play a better game than that, and honestly, that kind of made it apparent that the Hockey East or the Eastern teams in the ECAC were just not that good this year for some reason. I don't know. Unexpected. Denver went on to the regional final in Loveland to play Western Michigan. We'll get to that now. Denver with just I don't know what was wrong with Western on the Sunday. They played terribly in the first period, and I believe they went down 4-1 at the end of the first. So that game was pretty much over before it even started. Western just couldn't create a lot. Hicks made some good saves, obviously. Denver won that game 6-2. What are you gonna do? Denver now is, I believe, 3-0 coming out of the Loveland Regional when they're hosting it, and they've hosted it 3 times. So home ice advantage works for Denver in that regional. Obviously, they are on to the Frozen Four. And then anyone have anything to add to that regional?
Yeah, I thought it was, we talked about that being the region of doom and death, but I honestly, the outcome of that regional, I don't think really surprises any of us. Like, if you just
Yeah,
said, "Oh, Western Denver will play for the ship," and then Denver moves on, you go, "Yeah, that sounds about right." Like, I don't know what I said last week, and I probably had some crazy takes because I just like to have fun. But like, that's once again, that's I thought the games would have been a little closer. I
I
really
did too.
did,
Yeah,
but then, like I said, just with Cornell playing bad, and then after we saw what you needed to Quinnipiac, I think that's just a testament to how much better the NCHC is, and yeah,
yeah,
I think a lot of us thought Minnesota State might put up a better fight and potentially win just because, they're going on revenge. They have a really good team. They play a structured game, but once again, we forget that Western Michigan, although they didn't come out of the regional, they were the 1 seed in the regional. So they were probably the best team there. But like I said, Denver's the standard. They win in the postseason and they're gonna win in Loveland. So I don't think that region was that big of a surprise. But yeah.
I don't think it was a
Denver
big surprise of
pretty
who made out of it, but I was just really surprised by how lopsided a lot of these first round games were. None of them
Right.
were really all that close, except for the Michigan State UConn game. That was the only 1 goal game uh, in the first round. Obviously, Minnesota Duluth. We'll get to that one in a second, but and then the regional finals. I was really surprised by how not close those were at all. Besides the Michigan State Wisconsin game, Michigan State just did a choke job on that. Obviously, North Dakota just rolled Quinnipiac. Denver just rolled through. It was all of the games, I believe, I want to say all of the regional finals, one team had at least a 3-1 lead going into the out of the first period. Michigan State was up 3-1, I believe, on Wisconsin. After the first, North Dakota was obviously up 3-0. Denver was up 4-1, and I believe Michigan was up 4-1 or 3-1 over Duluth in the first period. Maybe Duluth hadn't scored a goal yet. Um, but just lopsided regional finals. A little disappointing, to be honest. With that being said, we'll move into the Albany regional. I feel like the most disappointing regional in terms of attendance this year. Nobody was there. I heard they had Mike Grinelli and crew from Spin Chicklets there. They were really disappointed with the turnout. Nobody was there really. Michigan routed Bentley. They're the number one overall seed, 5-1. Bentley trying to recreate what they did last year against Boston College, shaking things up. Took Boston College to the last minute to win that game last year. Michigan State did not repeat that. They handled them pretty easily. In the other semifinal, Duluth, the number two seed, played Penn State. Penn State with the 1-0 lead, and then Denver with the next three straight goals, showed why they're a clutch team, uh, and won the game. They took it 3-1, and Gavin McKenna and Penn State dropped $750,000 for a first round exit this year. Congratulations on that, and say goodbye to most of your team. We will not see you in the tournament next year, probably. Good riddance. Kind of funny. I feel like I don't know if this is factual, but the top two teams in the NHL, or not the NHL, the NIL this year in terms of spending were, I believe, Penn State and Michigan State, and they neither of them made the Frozen Four. Just shows again that having big talent doesn't win you a championship. It doesn't mean shit in the tournament. A team that's better and plays a better game is going to beat you, no problem. Heading into the regional final, Michigan played Minnesota Duluth, obviously. They went up 4-1, I want to say, in the first period. Let me just fact check that real fast. Do 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 do.
That's the
They
second
were
period.
up 3-0 at the end of the first. No scoring in the second period. And then Duluth scored 36 seconds into the third period to make it 3-1. Jaden Perron made it a 4-1 game. Kind of looked like it was probably over then. And then Duluth with a great push at the end nearly tied it up. It was 4-3. They had a lot of chances in the last couple minutes to tie it up. They just were not able to get it done. You kind of thought that. There was a call after the game that was a lot of people had their eyes on. Some Michigan guy when Shagabe, they had a good chance, and then Shagabe was wrapping it around the other side of the net. And while that was happening, a Michigan guy literally, I don't know what you want to call it. I think the word for it is a suplex. Just grabbed him from behind and just dropped him, just dropped his weight. You're not even allowed to do that in the NFL. Uh, and yeah, that was not called, missed. I believe that was with maybe a minute to go. So maybe the game changes, has that have if that's called. Uh, you got to think it does. Max Plant was phenomenal in that regional for Duluth. And they're not dancing into the Frozen Four this year. Michigan becomes the second Big Ten team, and they are the last team to get in the Frozen Four. Thoughts on the regional, fellas, in Albany?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from that game was I think just Duluth went down. I said it earlier, you can't go down 3-0 to any top team. You can't do that. And then Duluth made a push, and I think that push it did expose some weaknesses in Michigan's game. And that one tackle got highlighted, but I felt like Michigan was grabbing and doing all that crap all game. Like it was,
Mhm.
I just
I
noticed it
agree.
more than I had ever noticed it in any team. I don't know if that's their style, if that's
It
what they
is.
do,
Mhm.
but it was like kind of annoying to watch because they were doing that all game long. But that's a testament to I almost wonder like this team can score a ton of goals. Um, and like I said, it should have been a closer game because Duluth is just giving up. It was just it's unfortunate what they did in that
They
first
played a
period because it
shitty
kind of
first period.
yeah, it really just ruined the game for them. But I think it did show some flaws in Michigan's game.
Yeah,
And Denver, Carl, I'm sure is having conversations with Sandelin right now about, hey, what did you see here? Blah blah blah. If Denver plays good and doesn't do what Duluth did in that first period, I think they will
I think
win.
they
We can
win.
talk predictions later, but overall, I thought, yeah, I just the way Michigan played in the last period was just like just so grabbing. I was like, I just didn't like that style of play, and I'm like, if you
It's
guys
gonna
do
catch
want to
up
do
to you at
that,
some point.
that ain't gonna work. Yeah, if you don't have that 3 goal lead against Duluth, that ain't gonna work. Like it,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I think now that you mentioned that, I was also saying that with you. I think when we were watching it, it just looked like Michigan was doing literally everything but getting called for a penalty. I don't know who the refs were. They were just doing like little slashes, little hooks, little that tackle in front of the net. Like they're playing Michigan football. I don't get how they didn't get called for more penalties. I think they were doing everything kind of chippy and honestly kind of scummy, that wouldn't get you a penalty or is like literally like the closest you can get to not getting called a penalty, they did over and over again. And it was annoying to watch. And yeah, if Duluth doesn't drop 3-0 in that first period, that's a total different game. Duluth totally lost that game for themselves in the first period. I was really surprised by that. And then, watching that first period, after the second, you're like, well, Michigan kind of looks like the real deal shit. I didn't think that they would be like this. And then Duluth kind of exposed them at the end. They made them look really beatable. They exposed Michigan's flaws. Obviously, they were able to almost tie it up even after having a 3-0 lead, which is just you cannot let a team like not let it you cannot lose a game being up 3-0 like that. You can't afford to. And yeah, I think coming out of that game, my biggest takeaway was that Michigan is beatable. Definitely beatable if you play the right game, if you limit their chances. All you got to do really is limit their scoring. That's the biggest piece of their team is their scoring. They're the highest scoring team in the country for a reason, and if you can do a way to box that out or just limit their chances, they're extremely beatable. And I expect Denver to do that. Denver's playing extremely hot. They have arguably the hottest goaltender right now. Obviously, I would say Jan is very hot too now, but I would say Hicks has been hot for longer. I mean, he's still undefeated as a freshman. I don't know what his record is now. It's something like 13-0-1 or something like that. I don't know, but he is just playing phenomenal for them. Definitely making them scary looking. Uh, yeah, Ian, what were your thoughts on the regional, dude?
It's a good example, like we said about the refs. Um, that I think that crew is ECAC.
Hmm.
And to our point, I mean, when we played out in Clarkson, we saw a ton of that. Just a lot of cross checks, a lot of slashes off the puck, that didn't go called. And so to me, I thought the refs did not do a great job of that. Certainly seemed like they were puck watching in a lot of ways, especially with the full on hip drop
We're
tackle
watching Gavin
in front of the
McKenna
net.
and Jane Perron out there, just
Yeah.
watching them. Max Plant. Oh my
Um,
God, is that Max Plant? Where'd
the
he
icing
go?
call was another really brutal one at the end of the game. Duluth had a pretty incredible shift there, and then with about 19 seconds left, Michigan ices the puck, and Sandlin lost his mind on the bench. They spent, I think, well over a minute before they dropped the
Yeah,
puck, and so
that was
Michigan,
bad.
that was awful, and it was all because they wanted to add 3/10 of a second back to the clock, and it's like, are you serious? You cannot do that right now. And Sandlin, rightfully so, was screaming his head off at the refs. Was still pissed after the game. Like, if Duluth gets a rightful call right in front of the net, which should be completely obvious because the puck's right there too. Combined with that icing, you get a shorter icing. I bet they tie it up and they go to overtime with all the momentum. So
right.
again, it really sucks that Duluth, went down 3-0 because you're kind of asking to lose the game at that point. But I would argue Michigan asked to lose that game in the third period.
Right.
Um,
And sorry, continue. Finish.
well, also Albany just didn't have their shit together. Like
Yeah,
how many
like boards
pains
the
came out of the,
glass.
yeah, like four pains came out during the weekend. It was insane.
Yeah, like a lot of people were bitching about like Spin Chicklets. They were bitching about how well they're Penn State homers because they went and saw them play and everything like that. So they were bitching about uh sometime after they had all the momentum or whatever in the first period after they scored their first goal, and then the glass came undone for 25-minute delay. So they just lost all their momentum. So they lost the game because of that. And they were bitching about that. And that's the reason why they lost the game is because the painted glass came out off the boards. And it looked like it was like the same painted glass in the championship game of that regional. Uh, just figure your shit out. That happened in the first game too of the entire tournament, which was Michigan UConn. they had glass issues too. The most issues with glass I've seen in a tournament. Uh, None of which, by the way, were caused by someone getting hit into the boards and shattering the glass, which is something only UND has done. So that's pretty sweet.
That's
Anything
fun.
else to add to that regional before we move on, fellers?
I guess I'll go back to the previous region because I didn't talk about it, but
Okay.
again,
Sorry,
it
I
was
didn't mean to cut
just,
you out of that.
oh no, you're fine. It was very, very satisfying to see Gavin McKenna lose, especially
Oh
listening to the
yeah.
casters. I mean, it was just like
Oh,
Max Plant didn't get a peep of anything until
that was
Sunday.
fun. That was
And
good.
so it was so much fun. I mean, I'm sure the entire conference and most of the nation was rooting against Penn State, and so it just felt that much sweeter to see him go down. And McKenna obviously went completely invisible. He had like I think two shots total, went -3.
-3.
Was the turnover on
What a
the game
what an
sealer.
idiot.
So
What a loser.
Yeah, this is it, and people wondering like why is Gavin McKenna getting so much hate? And it's like, well, some of it's justified, some of it's not. But I mean, like this dude, like
Kind of a doucher.
Adam Fantilli and Macklin Sabrini did not get this much attention, and I get it because McKenna is the first WHL guy over, and he did deserve the hype, but I think he's the first guy ever to score 50 plus points and go -7. There's probably one other player in the last 20 years who's probably even finished in the minus 50 points. I
It's
so
unbelievable.
well,
it
that
is,
like
yeah.
I mean, granted, he actually put up pretty big numbers, but I think if you go back and look at who's in the playoffs and how McKenna did against those teams, I mean, it seemed like against every good opponent, he was pretty much invisible out there. And so even Penn State fans are starting to acknowledge that. They're like, Gavin should stay. He's not, I mean, he's just not developed enough.
They just want him to be back another year. They don't want to waste all that money on 1 year of nothing.
Yeah,
What he's
nothing.
gonna have his work cut out for him. They're gonna have to recruit a lot of guys to help him out because when they're
Yeah, their
missing
goalie signed.
Serrato for half the year, he didn't play that well. So, they're gonna have to figure it out. But he's gonna have. I really hope he signs and just goes and screws up his NHL career. I shouldn't say that. That's probably pretty rude and ruthless of me to say. I just don't like the kid. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't like him.
yeah.
I think he's a doucher. I don't. There's a difference between him and Macklin Celebrini. Macklin Celebrini is just a good guy. I mean, you can tell. Gavin McKenna just gives me just not good vibes. I don't like him. Kind of same with Bedard. I don't think they just both give me kind of like fuck off douchebag vibes. Sorry for my French, but I don't know, like for
Yeah,
lack of a better term, I think he's a doucher. I don't know.
I also think, yeah, just I don't know. Penn State was just all on their high horse after getting him. Like they tweeted out, "We're the epicenter of college hockey," and it's like, dude, no, you're not.
You
You
don't have a
just
single anything.
and then you got ESPN with this documentary about him, and it's like, why'd you go there? Oh, I wanted to go to a winning culture
I go
team
to
play.
a I
It's
wanted
like,
to go to
dude,
a
no.
contender,
It's
nice
like,
contender, buddy. You
dude,
hardly made the tournament and lost.
they just gave you a ton of money. Like what are we?
Exactly.
Yeah. For those
It's
who
not.
didn't watch all the games, but I think it was every first intermission, they did this like 7 minute biography of Penn State getting Gavin McKenna, and they're like, "Oh, Penn State's no longer a plucky underdog; they're a title contender for the rest of history." And oh my God, all the crew just, I mean, the only things they talked about were Michigan and Gavin McKenna, and it's so infuriating because there were so many other good teams this tournament, so many other gems of players. And like you said, nothing about him. Like Max Plant, nothing until the Sunday game when they, finally beat the Golden Boy.
He's great.
Dakota didn't say anything about us. I mean, Koreshny got what 5 seconds of talk from the ESPN crew. Like it's just so infuriating to see just the amount of bias and the I guess the unprofessionalism too. Like you could tell these guys just got handed a script from the Big Ten Glazers and just effed off with it. So.
Yeah, there's no BU or BC, so they had nothing to talk about. It's like, yeah,
Exactly.
what a I don't know. It's just, but honestly though, as a just being North Dakota fan, I think it is annoying, but I'm all right that we're flying under the radar right now. That's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. It was
Yeah,
annoying
keep
right
sleeping
away,
on us.
but whatever. I'm cool if it keeps happening.
Right. Yeah, so the 1 and 2 seeds into the Frozen Four. North Dakota gets to face Wisconsin in the early game. I think that's around 4 o'clock Eastern, 4:30 Eastern, something like that. Which means it'll be like 1 or 2 o'clock
Yeah, 2 o'clock Pacific.
start when we're there in Vegas. That'll be an interesting game. I We can talk about it more next week, but I don't know. I didn't see UND losing to either any of the teams in the regional, and they didn't. I didn't think I respect what Wisconsin did. I think that they played a good game against Michigan State, but that's a game them against Michigan State. That's a game that they're gonna like if someone's gonna beat Michigan State in that game, it's gonna be a Big Ten team. So I get it, but I
Mhm.
also think I don't know. I just think Wisconsin is very beatable, especially if UND comes out blazing. They just got to defend the rest of the game, and Michigan State just struggled to do that in the late stages of the third period. I just think I don't want to jinx it. I'll knock on wood here in a second, but I just don't see UND losing that game if they play how they did in the regional. They played phenomenally. If Jan keeps playing how he did, God knows what's going to happen. But
Yeah. I think seeing Wisconsin play this weekend, they kind of looked, I would say they looked similar to how Merrimack played us. I mean, they have a couple of really dynamic, skilled, plucky forwards that will get in your face,
mhm.
put shots on net. But I mean, for the most part, there were some shifts there where I'm like, Jesus, Wisconsin, like, how are you not down 5 goals right now, you know? So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. It's going to be a nice water bottle reunion. I hope that
Yeah,
they
well, I
bring.
don't get that. Is that some old video where Carrie Eads did
Yeah, you've
something
never seen
against
that?
Wisconsin? I
It's a
probably
funny
have. I
video.
just haven't seen it in a
Right,
while.
to lay the background for the fans, it's kind of I think it's early '80s, old Sioux
Oh, this
Badgers
is when he's a player.
rivalry.
Okay.
Yeah, old Sioux Badgers rivalry. I mean, that was the big three-way. It was us, the Gophers, and the Badgers. We're playing
Yeah.
at Wisconsin. We're down like 3-1 or something like that, 3-0 in the second, and UND has nothing going for him. And Kerry Eads comes skating back to the bench, and a Wisconsin player sprays him in the face with a water bottle. And both benches cleared. We had North Dakota players fighting fans
I
in the
have seen that.
stands. They were fighting cops. They were fighting everybody in sight. It is an incredible video. For those of you, just go look it up. Just look up Sioux Badgers water bottle incident.
That
Uh, the announcing on it's incredible. There's a lot of history between us and the Badgers, and it would
that
be
game that game
good.
might run out of beer. They might run out of beer at that game.
Yeah,
UND Wisconsin.
I really hope they bring out. I hope Kerry Eads is there and some of the old Badgers guys are there. I mean, to even have a little montage of that on the jumbotron before the game would
They're
just be
not going to do that.
electric.
Maybe they're not going to do that. I don't think. I don't know. And then Michigan, Denver. I just think Michigan's so beatable now. I mean, they're going to have to really play Denver hard. I just think Denver makes it out of that game, and then I don't know what about the championship. It can go either way. I think I would rather honestly say Denver wins that and be wrong than have me say UND wins it and be wrong about that. So I'm just gonna go with Denver wins the national championship over UND, which they have done like 3 times previously. They've beaten UND 2 or 3 times in the national championship before. So obviously 2005, and then I want to say sometime in their way early championships. I think they maybe beat us twice.
Yeah.
So
I would, I think Denver's going to win, but I would much rather play Michigan in the championship, I think.
I
Denver
don't know
will.
who I'd rather play, honestly.
Denver
I
will.
just
I got to
don't
see
want, I
the
don't
game.
like the idea of Michigan being able to win a national championship. I'd
Yeah,
rather
I
them
agree with that. I
be
want to see how that
clapped.
game goes first. That's the best part. If UND does win, we do get to watch that game. So
You don't have to worry
that's
about it. You already know what your team is,
yeah.
how your team did. You can just
We should
rest
we
and
should
relax.
we should go back to this topic, the Ollie Josephson topic. I I don't think you can split that Kernan, Kroll, and Young lineup. That was like one of our best lines this weekend. I
Yeah,
think
Yeah,
that
they
all
was
of
had
them had
like
really
points.
good.
6 out of the 8 goals or something.
Yeah. Like do you put Ollie on that fourth line, take out Klee, and
Oh, it's
then
so tough, dude.
and then
It's
who do you have centering that line? You could do Littler or Ollie, and I don't know.
you just put
I,
Ollie
I
at
I would
center, I feel like.
imagine who's the left winger on that line? Not Young. Who's the other
It's
guy on that line? Is
on on the
Fourth?
Kroll. It's Kroll and Kernan.
no on the fourth line.
Oh, it's that line is it's Klee left, Littler center, and Zakreski right wing.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. I
Mm,
I
I think
think
you
they would
take,
stick Ollie at center because of his face-off percentage
yeah,
this year.
I do too.
Hmm
I
I
would
don't think you put anywhere,
imagine.
I don't think you put Ollie anywhere but center. I just
I
don't.
like how Klee plays. He just plays so
I do
big though,
too.
and
I think he
that's
played well too. That's the hard thing about it is it's hard to take him out of the lineup.
I think they keep him
It's
as a
hard to
wing.
take Lillard out of the lineup. He's a big guy. He plays big. He hits. they're gonna have a lot. They're gonna have to work cut out for them to figure out how they're gonna do it here for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if Spoonar keeps playing well, I think a lot of it comes down to the way the defense is playing too. Props to them because
Absolutely,
they're,
they played phenomenally.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think Wisconsin's a team where you don't, just looking at their record, you don't know what you're going to get. Like they beat Michigan 4-1 one night, but then
6-1.
they, or six, yeah, excuse me. And then one night they led up 7 to Ohio State. So it's like, and Ohio State was buzzing at the end of the year, I will say that. But like, still, I don't know. Like you really don't know what you're gonna get. Like Dartmouth really didn't put up a fight. That's I don't know. I just don't think that was a good assessment. Michigan State, yeah, it's a Big Ten game. Michigan State did go 2 for 2 on the power play, so I guess that's something. But
I'm just happy they're there, honestly, at this point. This is what I wanted. I just wanted to see him play. I just hope I get
yeah,
to see him. Last time I've seen UND play in the Frozen Four, when I was there actually in the building, I was literally 4 years old. We were playing Boston College and we lost. And then I was there the following year, but I didn't get to go into the game. My dad and I had to go sit across the street while my mom and brother and sister went into the game. And we got routed 6-1 by Boston College. So yeah, I haven't. It's weird to think that we haven't seen UND in it. We used to be there all the time. It was a regular thing. It's weird to think that we haven't seen UND in the Frozen Four since I was in the eighth grade. I was literally living in Minnesota the last time that we were in the Frozen Four, and I've lived in North Dakota the last 10 years. That's crazy. It's been a long time coming, fellas, and we finally are back in the Frozen Four. I would rather play no other team than Wisconsin in the first round of the Frozen Four.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't want to
I'm very
undermine
happy
those
with that
guys,
matchup.
but they
I don't
are
want to either, but I just think
they don't
we
match
are
up
such
well.
a good team. No team plays like us. We have big team, 6'1" average, two like 195 average weight. It's just
Yeah, they
our
just don't match up
we're
well. And
playing
it's no disrespect to Wisconsin, but
well,
it's just like
Quinnipiac and us don't really match up well.
oh, we matched up to Quinnipiac. I mean
Well, yeah,
Quinnipiac.
we do. They don't match up well to us.
Oh, in kind of roster makeup, I mean Quinnipiac isn't really all that far off from Wisconsin. Wisconsin just got a little more size on them.
Hmm.
Wisconsin lacks the depth. I think that's going to be very important. But it's the Frozen Four. Like who knows?
Like one of those games where you just work and tire them out in the third, and then you just
Yeah,
kill them in the third. Could be one of those games,
if
and I
if
think
UND plays mid, they will lose though. That's the thing.
yeah,
yes.
If UND's
absolutely.
at their
They have
best,
to
they will
be.
win. But if they play mid, they will lose. It's as
They
simple
play
as
their
that.
best in both games. They might win the national championship, and I hope they do. That'd be an
If they
absolute
play like they
movie.
did in the regional, they will win the national championship.
I've heard recent talks because I know obviously when we're there, we want to see the trophy. We want to be a part of the celebration with the team. I have heard things where they might leave right after the game because the university is liable for them after the game and while they're there. And Vegas is just not a good place to have your guys be idiots, which I get. But at the same time, all those fans came out. I feel like they're gonna party with everybody just because they want to share that moment.
Maybe
Uh,
they'll. Well, I mean, the championship game's at 2:30 Pacific. Maybe they just hang out,
exactly for a while,
wasted,
and
and
then maybe
then
they
take the
leave.
midnight flight. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe they leave at like 10 p.m. So maybe they're partying until 7 o'clock and then they hit the road,
Still got to win, fellas.
Right.
Well, at
True.
least Spoon
I'm
our
just saying,
yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there that people who are expecting us to be there, it might not happen. Um, yeah, it's a toss up for me right now. That Michigan Denver game is going to be really interesting to watch. I get why it's a 7 o'clock game. Someone's getting a phone call right now.
Sorry.
That's okay. Um, yeah, I got nothing else, fellas. We don't have a vent line this week. I don't think you have anything to vent about, honestly. So maybe we'll do some questions on the vent line this weekend before we record. If we record with Brad again, which I haven't asked him yet if he wants to do that, we'll probably do it on Sunday again, and the episode will probably be out early next week, just because we want to get it out of the way before all of us hit the road for Vegas, which we will all be there. That's going to be pretty cool. Um,
The math on this quick. This is
got
going to
expensive
be
quick though.
electric because it's the four most successful programs of all time
Hmm.
going into this Frozen Four, and so just
Hmm.
I'm adding up the amount of Frozen Four appearances. I know we talked about there being 33 national championships between
Does Michigan
the
have 26?
huh?
Michigan have 26 Frozen Four appearances or 25?
29.
20.
I'm
Jeez.
already at 73 Frozen Four appearances, and that's not including Wisconsin.
Damn. Damn. Is
Yeah,
Denver what? This is their 19th?
like 21st or something.
I don't think
22nd.
so. I don't know if that's right.
It's
Pretty sure
like the
they've been to
20th,
less than 20.
21st.
I don't know what that. Maybe. Um, One thing that is, I don't know if you want to call it like writing on the wall, but UND's 23rd Frozen Four appearance is in Vegas. 23, Ralph Engelsted's number. Vegas, Ralph Engelstad owned a lot of land, owned a casino there. Maybe destiny, maybe not. Also, the Dane Jackson, I don't know about I wins every head coach since Dave Hackstall has made it to the championship game in their first year. Dave Dave Hackstall obviously lost to Denver in the national championship in 2005. And then Brad Berry won the national championship while beating Denver on the way there. They beat Quinnipiac. Dane Jackson could have to play both those teams.
I think Blaze is the only one since Gino to not make it in his first year, right?
And he made it like his third year. So I mean,
Gino
yeah.
made the Frozen Four championship game in his first year.
I believe so.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Shit.
Let's look it up. Gino
Well, then
Jasper.
I'm gonna have to fill
Really
blank
hope I'm not
space
wrong on
while
that
you
because
guys are
that make
looking
me
it up.
sound really dumb.
He did we make, well, let's
La,
see,
la,
started
la,
in
la, la. You have
78.
to
So
check, just check go on Wikipedia, check UND's seasons. And it'll show the head coach and it'll show where they
yeah,
Okay,
finished.
yeah, they
that
made the
was
championship, but they lost. Okay, so
yeah, that
they
was
didn't
Who they
win.
lose
Minnesota
to?
to
Who they
They
lose
Hershey.
to?
lost.
Minnesota 79.
Okay.
And we won it the next year.
Yeah,
Hmm. Shit. What about the guy who, what about the guys before that?
No clue.
I doubt it.
The guy in
no.
the 70s obviously didn't because they didn't make
Yeah, what's his name again? Worst coach ever. He
Thorncraft or is it Bjorkman?
Bjorkman.
Some of
Yeah,
them are
he was
like
like the
still
worst one,
alive.
dude.
They're like 95 years old.
I'm sorry for listening to this Bjorkman, but we weren't there to see it, I guess. We're just reading what we've heard. Um,
yeah, yeah, York he went yeah, he's the only USC coach with a losing record.
that's tough.
Well, besides Joe Brown in 1929 and Nolan Franz in 1932.
I don't
Ru-
know if the UND was varsity for hockey then yet.
No,
Rube,
they
Rube
weren't
Bjorkman
varsity in like
is
the late 40s.
97 years old and he's still
He's still
still
kicking it.
he's still out here. He coached at UND and then coached Warroad High School the next and then retired from coaching.
Hmm. Not often you see a guy go from college down to high school. But anyway, anything else to add, fellas, before we wrap this up? Surprisingly, we made good time on this. Like we've been recording for I want to say 50 minutes maybe. So we're all going to the Frozen Four. We're all staying at different places probably. I'm staying at the Link. Link, where are you staying?
Like the Hilton Towers.
Not a fella. Ian, you don't know where you're staying?
No idea. I'll have to
You
figure that
bringing the
out.
Bucky with you there? You bringing that
Oh
bucket with
yeah.
you?
Oh yeah, this thing's coming, baby.
Whatever happened to those paper Frozen Four buckets they used to have at the games? You guys
Oh,
remember
I
seeing
forgot
those? Like
about
they're
those. Yeah, I know what you're talking
what
about.
happened to those? Why did they stop doing those? They used to have them at like the late 2000s Frozen Fours. Those are kind of sick.
I also saw the Sioux Jersey drink koozies. I saw those on Facebook the other day, and I'm like, holy crap, we used to have those. I don't know where they went.
Did you see some guy bitching on TikTok about
Yeah.
UND's where people wearing Sioux jerseys still? Like he's
Guys,
like,
the
one of
the
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 greatest
names are
traditions
gone.
in hockey is wearing your jersey to the game, no matter if they're playing or not. But it's time to move on from these Sioux jerseys. They're just like move on. It's been gone for 10 years. It's like figure it out. Stop wearing the Sioux jerseys. You know, it's getting annoying. It's getting old. I'm like, I think it's only getting old for you, dude. Really. Like wearing a suit jersey to the game is one of the best traditions in hockey. Like you see them at every game that there is all over the world. I've seen him at World Juniors across the world in Czechia. I saw him in the gold medal game between Connor Bedard and Canada and Czechia. And in the middle of Canada somewhere, there's a guy literally a couple rows up from the glass wearing a Sioux jersey.
Yeah, almost every
You see
sport
him
I feel like you
everywhere.
can find one.
Saw him at the World Juniors this year. Obviously, that's a little bit easier, more common, but see him, I think I saw one at each regional this year. They're everywhere. Like, I disagree with that, with his claim, but that's my opinion, and he's entitled to his own. So, anything else to add, fellas? Are we excited about Vegas? Yes, yes, no?
What day are you guys flying in?
Wednesday.
All right.
Flying in
Good.
Wednesday, like uh, 3 or 4 o'clock their time. My plane leaves at 2:30 in Fargo.
I'll
So
be
if
there
you're
at
on my
11
flight,
a.m.
please don't bring a knife and cut me. I have to go to Frozen 4. Don't flash mom me, please. Just kidding. That's not going to happen. We don't have enough viewers for a flash mob. Um,
Thought you
anybody?
flash
What's
mom. Like, why? Who's
we?
trying to flash your mom, dude?
No, I know. I'm kidding. Gonna be
I'll be there
there to
Thursday morning. I'm flying
maybe
in.
cash our
Um,
bet. So
I leave here 9 a.m. and I think I land in Vegas like 11 a.m. So we're gonna get straight to the hotel, put our bags up, and get after
when
it.
you leaving?
Sunday
Sunday at when?
afternoon.
I'm leaving at 6 a.m., dude, on Sunday.
Dude's just gonna overnight it and rage her all the way
I
home.
am, dude. I'm gonna rage. Go. Well, the thing is the championship's at like 2 o'clock, so it's not really gonna matter for me. We'll have all day to do whatever if we win, and then I'll just go to bed or I'll pull an all-nighter with my boy. So with we'll just get it done. That's baseball, fellas.
God, two idiots.
That's porn. All right. Are we finished here?
Yeah.
All right, we'd like to take a second to thank all of our viewers. If you are a returner, we appreciate your constant support. This would not be. We don't do this for just anybody. We do this for you. So thank you for returning and listening for us. Stop laughing, Ian. You're making me embarrassed. Uh, and then if you are a new listener, thank you for listening. We hope to see you back here next week. Maybe we'll have Brad on, maybe not. Once the season concludes, um, which according to Lincoln will be on Thursday next week. Uh, we will probably have some episodes this summer. It won't be every week, but we'll let you know. We're probably gonna have on Clay Matvick is one. Hopefully we'll have on. Met him in like November, so hopefully we'll have him. Maybe some players, former players. We'll see what happens. But thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week. Can we get a little wave from you, Lincoln? Can you wave to the?
Bye.
Thank you, Lincoln. Sweet. We'll see you guys next week.